Have you been working hard in your coaching business but still feel like you're broke? When this happens, a lot of people make the mistake of blaming it on their marketing, their price, or their offer. But the real problem is that you're talking to the wrong clients. And the truth is, until you fix this, you will always stay stuck. And so in this episode, I am going to discuss with you the 4 type of clients that you might come across in your coaching business and how to attract high-paying clients that will let you see success in your business. In last week's episode, I talked to you about the 4 different types of coaches that you can be. But here's the thing. If you position yourself to be a comfortable coach or even a high-level coach, but you're talking to the wrong clients, you still will not see success. It's already hard enough to work on your mindset and get to a place where you believe that you are capable and that you can charge high prices for your services. And what's going to maintain that mentality is the results that you see. And so when you step out there and you try to be a different coach, but you're talking to the wrong clients and therefore you're not seeing results, it's going to be very easy to fall back into that mindset that you are trying to overcome. So you might start questioning, well, maybe I'm just not capable of doing this, or maybe my offer isn't valuable enough, or maybe I don't have what it takes. But majority of the time, that's not the problem. Majority of the time, the problem is the type of person that you are selling to and that you are attracting. And so in this episode, we are going to discuss the 4 different types of clients that you will come across, what type of coach they will be better suited for, and how to attract them and how to push them away. So the first type of client is what I like to call the panhandler. And judging from that name, you should know what type of client they are, but they are the type of client who wants everything for free. They are the type of client who likes to pick your brain. They like to come in, they like to get something, but they don't like to give anything in return. So the type of coach that this client is attracted to and will align to is the first coach that we talked about in last week's episode, and that was the generous coach. Remember, the generous coach is the type of coach who feels guilty about charging, and they spend all of their time giving away the value that they have for free. Now, if you are a generous coach and you desire to stay a generous coach, this type of client can work for you. And so I do want to talk about some ways to make this work if you do not desire to scale up and become a different type of coach, right? So if you're a generous coach, the best way to stay a generous coach and be successful is for you to make your coaching business a side hustle. So this is not your main income. You might have another business that you run that brings in the money to pay your bills and for you to live comfortably. You might have a job and that's how you pay your bills. So you have another stream of income, and your coaching business is just simply a hobby for you. It's something you do as volunteer work and you do it in your spare time. You also have to set boundaries for yourself and have dedicated time that you spend on your coaching business. Because remember, when we talked about the generous coach in last week's episode, we said that they get burnt out very easily because they feel like they're putting in all of this work and all of this effort and they're not getting anything in return. So if you are running your business like a full-time job and you are not getting paid like a full-time job, that's where the burnout is going to come. But if you have another stream of income, so whether that be investments, another job, another business, and you say, okay, I'm only going to dedicate 2 hours per day, 3 days per week to my coaching business, and I'm going to sit down, I'm going to get on live, or I'm going to record a YouTube video and I'm going to put it out. You're setting boundaries with your time, right? So the burnout won't come as easily because you're setting your business up like a hobby. But going back to your panhandling client, let's talk about things that attract them. So some things that attract them will be free stuff. So a free masterclass, a free webinar, a free course, a free lead magnet, anything with the word free on it will be appealing and attractive to this client. Another thing that will attract them is quick tips. So if you post a YouTube video or you post, an Instagram post and you're just giving quick little nuggets and quick little tips that can help them, that will be very attractive to them. So some things that pushes them away, any mentioning of price, right? If you mention price in any way, it does not matter what the price is. You could be selling something for $5. You could be selling something for $20. If you mention any type of price where they have to swipe a card or come out of some cash in order to get this thing in return, they will start running and they will run away. Another thing that will push them away is any exclusive content or any upsell. So if you have, your content set up where it's like, I do a webinar, I give you a lot of valuable information, but then at the end, I upsell you to another program that I have where you have to spend money, or I do a YouTube video where I give you a lot of valuable information. And then at the end, I tell you about my paid products that you can upgrade to so that you can get a better return. Those types of things are going to attract them. They want content where you give everything to help them all at once for free. You do not upgrade. You do not upsell yourself. There is no funnel. You are just giving, giving, giving. And that is why I call this client the panhandler. So moving on to client number 2, the second type of client that you could attract in your coaching business is what I like to call the deal finder. The deal finder is someone who is willing to spend money, but only in small amounts. So they might spend like $30 or $50 on an ebook every now and then, or they'll spend $47 on a mini course every now and then. So it's like they will spend some money, but the product that they spend money on has to be cheap. This type of client desires price over value, which means when they are looking at an offer that you are giving them, the only thing that they are concerned about is the price more than they are concerned about the value. The value can be there. The value can be like amazing, but if the price does not fit what they are willing to spend, they do not care about none of the value that you have provided. They are not going to buy your product, right? Now, if you choose to work with this type of client, you're going to run into the problem of them always feeling frustrated because what they fail to realize is that you get what you pay for. A lot of stuff that is lower ticket. So like a $30 ebook, a $47 mini course, it's going to be very minimum information, is not going to provide a life-changing result. It's really going to be a lot of do-it-yourself work. So I'm providing you with the information and you take that information and you do with it as you please. And they don't understand that you get what you pay for. So they expect $10,000 coaching programs and a $30 ebook, or a $50,000 VIP day and a $47 mini course. And when they don't get that, they feel very frustrated, and you will hear their wrath and you will hear their frustration. So that would be something that you will have to be prepared for. So if that is something that you are prepared for and you are willing to deal with, then let's talk about the type of coach that they would be the best suit for. So the deal finder client will align perfectly with the timid coach. The timid coach is someone who does charge for their services, but they are afraid of offending people. They are afraid of charging too high. So they'll normally do lower price things. They'll do a $100 to $300 one-on-one coaching session. They'll do, $50 mini courses. So this is the type of coach that this client will be perfect for. Now, if you desire to stay a timid coach and you want to deal with this type of client, I would give you the same advice that I gave the generous coach. I would highly recommend that your coaching business be a side hustle and you have another stream of income. Whether you're an investor, you have another business, or you work a job, you want your coaching business to be a side hustle, because these types of clients, yes, you'll be getting paid. Yes, you will be making, some money, but you'll only be making chump change. You won't make any life-changing money. You won't make enough to pay your bills. You won't make enough to live, a high level life. It would just be some extra money in your pocket, right? And these type of clients, they don't really desire scaling up, right? So you're not going to see much growth in your business, especially if you want to get to a point where you start selling higher ticket stuff. These clients are not going to take you there. Your business will just have to be a side hustle. But going back to the deal finder client, I want to talk about what attracts them. So they are attracted to low prices. They are attracted to discounts. If you are the type of coach where every other month you have a discount, 50% off, 75% off, 25% off, this will be your client. They will love you. And if you love to use affordability focused messaging, so messaging is the way that you deliver your sale of your offer, right? And there's so many different things that you can focus on in your messaging to influence your client and make your product desirable to them. And so with the deal finder client, what's going to be the biggest influence on them is you talking about affordability. So you saying, oh, you only get this for $50. Oh, everybody else, they charge $500, but I'm charging $75. You really talk about how this is affordable to them and how they don't have to spend a lot of money. That would be very attractive to them. Also, the words that you use. So using words like cheap, using words like affordable, using words like sale, using words like budget or on a budget. Those types of words will be very attractive to this client. Now, some things that pushes them away will be any type of offer that is priced over $500. Like I said, if you have a $100 to $300 one-on-one session, they will be willing to pay for something like that. They might even be the type of person, if you have free consultations, where they will do your free consultation and they'll never sign up, right? But if you try to charge $400, say for like a one-on-one session, they may be willing to pay that. But if you go $500 or above, you completely lost them. They will not be interested whatsoever in your business. Another thing that pushes them away is premium or high ticket programs. So if you're charging $2,000, $10,000, like they are definitely not interested in working with you. And they might even be the type to guilt trip you and try to shame you for the prices that you have and try and like manipulate or bully you into like lowering your prices. So you really have to ask yourself, do you like the deal finder client? Is that someone that you want to work with? If it is, I would suggest you being a timid coach. If it's not, let's talk about client number 3. So the third type of client that you might run into in your coaching business is what I like to call the micro investor. So the micro investor is a client who is willing to spend money to invest in themselves and invest in, their future, but in moderation and also to a certain level, right? So they are the type of client who will spend anywhere between $1,000 to $5,000 on a coaching program. In order for them to spend this type of money, they have to be very confident that this training is going to be worth the investment. So they might be the type of client who asks a lot of questions. Now, their questions could lead to a sale if they feel like it is worth it, but they will ask a lot of questions because they want to make sure that what you are, offering them, they're going to get a, return on investment. Yes, they are willing to spend a couple $1,000s on a coach, but they don't have money to waste. They're not rich. So they want to make sure that they're making wise decisions and that what they're paying for is going to be worth their time and worth their money. So I'm sure if you listen to last week's episode, you can guess the type of coach that this client will align with. And that coach is what I would like to call the comfortable coach. I feel like I should start quizzing you guys. That would be really fun. But yeah, they align with the comfortable coach, right? So the comfortable coach is someone who understands that they need stability in their business. So they are willing to charge higher. They are willing to charge anywhere between $2,000 to $5,000 for, a coaching program, or $197 to $497 for a membership program. They are willing to, raise their prices to adjust to their lifestyle and fit the lifestyle that they want to live. They just don't want to push themselves to the highest price points possible. So if you are a comfortable coach and you want to stay a comfortable coach and you want to, attract these types of clients. When you are marketing to them, you really want to make sure that you press in and help them understand the result that they are going to get. You want to make sure that you press in and let them know, hey, I'm going to walk you step by step on how to get this. Make sure that you show a lot of reviews, have, past clients and stuff come on and, talk about their experience and put this client's mind at ease, because they are willing to make the investment. They just need reassurance that the investment is worth it. A good thing about being this type of coach as well is that this is when you start to get to a level where your business does not have to be a side hustle. You can work your business full time. You can dedicate all your work hours to this business, to this coaching business, and still be able to make a living. You will be able to pay your bills. You might have some extra money, after paying your bills, but this could be your full-time thing. So if that sounds good to you and you want to stay a comfortable coach and you want to attract the micro investor client, then let's talk about what attracts them and what pushes them away. So the things that attracts them is a value offer that feels worth it, but isn't too high in price, right? So like I said, it has to be anywhere between $1,000 to $5,000. 5,000 is, the highest they'll go for a coaching program or anything, because normally memberships and courses are cheaper than that. So 5,000 would be like the most that they would pay for something. You have to really deliver your message talking about what's worth it. So remember when we talked about, the deal finder client, your message has to be centered around the price, and the price has to be affordability. With this client, the micro investor, your messaging has to be really centered around the result that they get, and they have to feel like it's worth it. You have to really show them how your program is going to walk them to that result. What are you teaching in this program that they can't find themselves? And how is what you're teaching going to get them the result that they're looking for? Another thing that will attract them is a clear framework. I kind of touched on this in last week's episode when we talked about the type of coaches that you could be. But I said that there are a lot of coaches where, they feel like if my program is really short, if it doesn't have a lot of modules, if the, lessons and videos aren't super duper long, then it's not worth it. So what they'll do is they'll start adding a lot of fluff to the program, and the downside of that is that your program and your framework starts to get a little blurry, and it starts to feel a little overwhelming, and people feel like they can't make it through. So one thing that will attract them is you having a clear framework. It doesn't have to be long. The videos does not have to be long, but the steps have to be necessary, right? So write that down. It does not have to be long, but the steps have to be necessary. That will be very attractive to this type of client. Now, when it comes to the things that will push this type of client away, I really need to break this down to you because it can get a little confusing. So 2 things that will push them away is price. If your prices are too low, it will push them away. But if your prices are too high, it will push them away. I want you to think about the micro investor client like a light switch, right? Remember how we talked about with the deal finder client, how they desire price over value. I really think about this in fractions. So think of price being over value. So there's clients who desire price over value, but then there's other clients who desires value over price. The micro investor client falls in the middle. And the price point that you set, think of them like a light switch. It will either switch them on where they desire price over value, or it will switch them off where they desire value over price. So if your products is in between $0 to $5,000, they will switch on and they will desire value over price. But if you're charging $10,000, $20,000, $65,000 for a coaching program, they will switch off and they will desire price over value. So it's like, to a certain extent, they will be looking at the value and not care what the price point is. But once that price point is out of what they can afford, or once that price point is out of what they conditioned themselves to believe is necessary to spend on a coach or a coaching program, they're going to be more worried about the price than they're worried about the value. I hope that makes sense, right? So the reason why I say that lower offers will be unattractive to them is because, like I said before, you get what you pay for. A lot of higher clients, they understand that you get what you pay for. They understand that buying a $30 ebook is not going to bring a life-changing result. And so if your products are too low, they are going to believe that that offer is not going to bring the result that they're looking for. That is why low prices will not be attractive to them. But on the flip side, there's only a certain amount of money that they are willing to spend. So if your product exceeds their budget, that product will be unattractive to them as well. So the goal with the micro investor client is to kind of create balance and meet them in the middle. Like I said, if you are ranging between 10,000 to say $0, the middle of that would be like $1,000 to $5,000, right? Middle towards the end. That is the range that you want to meet them in to attract them and have them desire to buy with you. So the last type of client that you can choose to work for is what I like to call the high class client. Remember how under client number 3, we just talked about how there are 2 different types of mindsets that clients have, right? You have some that desire price over value, and then you have some that desire value over price. Well, your high class client is the only client who will desire value over price at any price point. They do not care how much a product costs. They do not care if it's $75,000. They don't care if it's $10,000. The only thing they care about is the result that they're giving. And if they feel like the result is worth the price, they will pay that price because the result is the true desire, and they will do anything it takes to have that result in their life. So I want to do a little quiz. What type of coach do you feel like the high class client will align the best with? And if you answered the high level coach, you are absolutely correct. Remember in last week's episode, we talked about how the high level coach is the only type of coach who does not look at, their skill sets, their confidence, their insecurities when pricing a coaching program. The only thing that they look at is the value that they are delivering and how much that value is worth, right? So if you are a high level coach, there is no question that you will be highly successful if you want to stay a high level coach and attract a high class client. You will not need to work your business like a side hustle. You will have money and more left over to invest in other things, do whatever you please with it. And so if that sounds ideal to you, then let's talk about some things that will attract this type of client and what will push this type of client away. So number 1, the first thing that will attract a high class client is a clear transformation and life-changing results. Like I said, this type of client will be willing to pay whatever to get a result that they feel will change their life, or, get a result that they have been desiring for a long time. So you have to make sure that in your messaging, you are very clear on what the transformation is and how this transformation will change their life. You can even take it a step further and talk about how this transformation will change the lives of people that they care about the most. So if they have children, how will this transformation change their children's life? If they have parents, how will this transformation change their parents' life? If they have a spouse, how will this transformation change, their spouse's life? Talk about the life-changing results that will happen to this person and the people that they care about the most. Also, make sure that in your messaging, you are aiming to spark an emotion out of them, right? So that emotion could be inspiration. That emotion could be relief. That emotion can be confidence. But the more that you can spark this emotion in them through your messaging is going to help you gain trust, where they start to believe, if you can do this while selling to me, I know you can do this while delivering a result and having me feel this emotion every day when I'm done working with you. Now, some things that will push a high class client away is a coach who focuses on price and affordability over the value. This type of client is willing to spend whatever to get the result that they are looking for. And they know in order for them to get this high level result, they need a high level person teaching them. And so when you are the type of coach who comes across timid or scared or, trying to justify the price that you are selling a coaching program for, you are showing them that you lack confidence. And in their head, they're going to be thinking, if you lack confidence in your price, how can I trust that you can actually get me to the result that I'm looking for? So when you start talking about price and affordability and using words like, well, it's only $5,000 or it's only $12,000, like those types of things are really going to push this type of client away. It shows them that you are not confident in the value that you give. It shows them that you are not confident in the product that you offer. And most importantly, it shows them that if you aren't even confident in that product, there is no reason for them to be confident that that product will bring the result that they're looking for. And so what they're going to do is they're going to leave you and they are going to go find another coach who is selling the same transformation, who has the confidence, who does not feel the need to justify their price, who does not feel the need to try to convince them that the price is okay when they never cared about the price in the first place. And they're going to go give their money to that client while you're still struggling to get, the panhandler client and the deal finder client and the micro investor to work with you. Another thing that is going to push the high class client away is way too many low ticket offers. Like I said, when it came to the micro investor client, these types of clients understand that you get what you pay for. They understand that if they only invest in $30 ebooks or a $100 course, that information is only going to take them so far. And they are at a point where they don't want to waste time. They don't want to figure things out themselves. They don't want you throwing information at them and then they have to figure out how to put the pieces together. They want a program that is structured to give them life-changing results. And that means that they are willing to pay higher prices because they know those high-priced programs are going to bring that to them. And so if you have a coaching business and the only thing that you do is sell low ticket, that is going to be very unappealing to them. They are going to feel like there is nothing that you can give them that will help them, right? And I do want to give a disclaimer. I'm not saying that as a high level coach, you can never have low ticket offers. You can never sell a $100, course or, a $30 ebook or a $20 book. Of course you can have those offers. But if that is all you sell and you don't have any premium offers, you don't have any high level offers, you don't have anything that's worth a lot of money, then they're going to feel like you're not the coach for them. You don't have what it takes to get them where they need to go. So as we wrap up, I just want you to understand that these are the 4 type of clients that you can and will attract in your coaching business. As you walk away from this episode, remember that you don't need more clients. You need the right clients. You can have 10 panhandler clients who refuse to pay you. But if you would just shift your perspective and focus on the high class client, getting one high class client to pay you will pay you more than what you were begging those 10 panhandler clients to pay you this whole time. You have to figure out what type of coach you want to be, how much money you want to make, and focus on attracting the right type of client that aligns with the type of coach you're aiming to become. And like I said in last week's episode, everyone's not going to start off being a high-level coach. If you have been operating as a generous coach and attracting panhandlers, being a high-level coach might be too much for you. It might be overwhelming. So you might want to start off being a timid coach or being a comfortable coach, and that is fine. But for everyone who feels like I am ready to be a high-level coach, I want you to do 2 things. Number 1, I want you to put I am a high-level coach in the comment section of this episode. Then I want you to go to the description of this episode and I want you to click the link next to the words that says Coach What You Know. And I want you to join the waitlist for my challenge. Coach What You Know is a 3 to 4 day challenge that teaches you 3 things. Number 1, how to uncover and discover the skills, talents, and wisdom that you currently have right now. Number 2, how to take those gifts, take that wisdom, take those talents, and turn it into a profitable coaching program where you can charge at least, at minimum, $10,000 per client for. And number 3, how to launch that coaching program in 30 days and start changing your life with high-class clients. If that is something that you want to do, if you feel like you are really ready to become a high-level coach, then join the waitlist for the Coach What You Know challenge so that you can start taking that next step when the next challenge arrives. And so before we go, believe it or not, that was not my action step for you this week. Sometime this week, I want you to take a look at the clients that you have been attracting. Write down which category they fall into, whether it's panhandler, deal finder, micro investor, or the high class client. Then ask yourself, what in my content or in my offers is attracting this type of client? And if it's not the micro investor or it's not the high class client, then I want you to write down one tweak that you can make this week, whether it's raising your prices, changing how you deliver your message, or shifting the way you talk about the value to start aligning yourself and aligning your program and aligning your business with the type of clients you are aiming to attract. And so that is all that I have for you today. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you subscribe so that you get notifications every time a new episode is released. Also, leave a review and let me and others know how you enjoyed the show. And if you want to stay connected, follow me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Coach Your Way to Wealth. But that is all that I have for you today, and I will see you next week.